Hello and welcome everybody. Thanks for joining this quick demo day. So KYVE is currently under heavy development and we have introduced so many changes and it's insane, and we want to show you a few of those changes today. First of all, I want to start with a few Corellia things. So as you all know, Corellia is currently paused. But currently it's one thing we added, like a lot of people were asking about the Twitter stats. So the Twitter stats are always behind. So we have to fetch the Twitter API. It takes some time. We have to usually do this manually because we select the tweets which we want to index. So it's always way behind. And now we have this Twitter stats page where you can see the indexed tweets and especially when we index them. So it's important that you have liked or retweeted the tweets before that date. Then you should be fine. And also you have to make sure that your Twitter account is set to public. So I think you're able to do some privacy settings where you can put this to private, and then we won't able to fetch the stats. Exactly, then you can see things are red, it means I haven't liked or retweeted it. For example, here are some examples where I retweeted and liked it. So and quote tweet and retweet are actually the same. So it doesn't matter if you quote tweet or retweet, you get points for one of these. So Corellia is currently paused. We have Motherboard, Team Cont actually reached everything's quite good, and community and engineering develop as we predicted. Okay, so these are changes to Corellia. Now to the pool change in the V4 upgrade, which rolled out on Tuesday. Actually, we're really happy that we have now so many pools here. So I'll start with the Moonbeam pool. So the overview page, I haven't changed that much. But for example, the funders, so the first thing is we remove the pagination, so everything is now in one list because it will always be maximum of 50 funders. One important thing to mention, so we still see people complaining, maybe they fund a pool and then they complain that they lose funds. So if you fund a pool, you are paying the validators to archive the data, so you will lose funds. You only fund a pool if you have an incentive to keep the pool alive. For example, if you are the provider of the data or you are the one who wants the data to be archived. So keep in mind, if you fund a pool, these balances will decrease and will go directly to the validators. Maybe you remember that we have had two tabs for the validators and the delegation. This tab is now merged into one tab. We also removed the pagination and we did some eye candy. For example, now we can show the icons are shown, the moniker is shown, and people can put a small information in here. And all the information are not displayed on one single page. With the personal stake as total delegation, an important property is the commission. So now I can go scroll through the validator set, click on anybody, usually somebody maybe I know. For example, click on this guy because it's the first one who has an image and the description. I can click on the entry, and then we'll get the profile page of this validator. So here we see a lot of detailed information about this validator in this specific Moonbeam pool. And another thing you can now do is you can just copy the URL. For example, if you are a validator in a pool, you can copy the URL and send it to somebody else if you want to advertise for your node. Usually people use the delegation channel and say, hey, I'm on Moonbeam pool. This is my address. You can delegate to me. Here are my stats. Now people can send this link. Can have here a second link, for example, to their private website. People can double check the address here, and then you're actually good to go. We have the stats again on the pools. We can see all the bundles the validator created. So these are bundles the validator uploaded and were voted valid by the others. So if there are a lot of bundles, it's a good sign. A lot of valid bundles, that's a good sign. And we have the delegations tab where we can see all the delegations button to the top. Delegation works as usual. It's risk-free delegation, so I can put some delegation to a validator. So this validator will have a higher probability to get selected as an uploader and therefore will receive more rewards. I also will receive a portion of the rewards as a delegator. The delegation here. And now if I click on delegate, I can decide between delegate or undelegate. Exactly. Then you also may have noticed that we now have this the points counter. So the points counter is related to the new voting mechanism. So the voting mechanism, so under the hood, how the bundles are verified, changed a little bit. So now it's possible for voters to have 3 types of votes. So they can vote with yes, no, and abstain. The abstain vote is new. For example, if you're not able to fetch like the data source, you can vote with abstain and just say, okay, I wasn't able to participate in this round, but I'm still an active node. I'm online, so please don't kick me out. And with the, when I, for example, an uploader, and I'm not able to upload, I, for example, can also skip my uploader role and say, okay, when I'm not able to upload the data, I just skip the role. It means that I'm still active. For example, if I'm inactive for like 5 times in a row, didn't vote anything, I will receive a point every time. After that, I will get kicked out. Exactly. The proposals page, here you can see like the active proposal, which is currently in preparation. So we have like this bundle ID was currently uploaded by this uploader from height to height byte size, and this bundle is right now in progress. We can see it's pretty far in progress. So 37 people voted valid. The vote period already ended, and now everybody's waiting for the next uploader to upload the next bundle. Oh, and it happened right now. This stuff changed, and now the new rounds begin. So people can vote valid, invalid, or vote abstain. Actually, no activity, it's everything as it was. You can see a summary of all the uploaded bundles. So on Moonbeam, it's like lots was our first pool. Here we have like a lot of different bundles. If I go, for example, to like, I think it was the Aurora pool. Okay, I can't see it. So on Aurora pool, for example, there was one bundle where a lot of people voted with abstain. So this could mean that, for example, there were some troubles fetching the data source, which sometimes can happen. Okay, so last big thing is the introduction of this page and the new KYVE. So it's like the Cosmovisor from Cosmos, but for the protocol nodes, which will manage automatic protocol upgrades. So from time to time, we sometimes change the protocol, update the protocol nodes, and people had to manually switch their node, switch the binary to the new version. This can now be handled automatically by the KYVE, and this is where Troy will now start to demonstrate this.
Well, thank you, Max, for the introduction. And like already mentioned, I will now provide like a guided tutorial on how to use the KYVE and make an example on how to run on the Moonbeam pool, or for example, the Bitcoin pool, and how to properly set it up. Because especially in the last few days, I saw a lot of questions, especially regarding like the mnemonic format and all that stuff. So maybe some questions will be answered. And I will just share my screen real quick. So we can go through this together. So can you see my screen?
Yes, and I will also reshare it.
Perfect, thank you. All right. First of all, you can find documentation on the KYVE on our official documentation. So when you go to our docs.kyve.network, you can go to introduction and how to run a protocol node, because the KYVE is also used to run a protocol node. So to join a pool and validate data. And then you can go on the menu and choose the recommended installation, and that's currently the KYVE. And there you find all the stuff I will explain now also in the written format. And I will just do the exact same what's written here. So first of all, what we need to do is like get the KYVE code, and currently it's only available on my GitHub. So you can just copy that URL here, or directly go to the repository and then just clone it from here, which I will then just do right now. So I will do everything here on my desktop, so I have a clean setup, and then you can see all the steps. So like I said, the first step will be to just clone the repository. It's of course public, and you can even make pull requests to that if you have any suggestions or improvements. You already actually merged one pull request from a user. So feel free to make contributions if you see potential to improve it. So now we just cloned it, and now I will just cd into it and see if everything is there. So this is how the Kaiser looks like when you directly clone it. And the first step is now to install the dependencies, because it's a Node.js project or a TypeScript project. So we'll just install everything. Should not take longer than a minute. And if you get any errors, maybe update yarn first, or maybe try it with npm even. It should both work. So now that the dependencies are installed, we can now open the Kaiser config, and you can use like an editor like VS Code or IntelliJ or a text editor, or I can just use Nano or even Vim, and then you can open that file and see all the settings there. So relevant for us is the information on which pool we want to run on. And for that, we can just go to app.kyve.network. I'm pretty sure you should be familiar with this now. So for the sake of this tutorial, we want to run on the Moonbeam pool, because we see here there are still 11 slots free. So we know that the minimum staking amount is actually 0. So we can run with every stake here. And in order to run on Moonbeam, we just need the pool ID, and you always find the pool ID when you click on a pool, and then just look down here. So this is the first pool, so the pool ID is 0. So when we scroll down the config here, there are many settings, and the first setting we need to adjust is either running on Linux or macOS. And currently I'm running on macOS, so we'll just enter macOS here. And for those who want to run it on Windows, we don't support that anymore, because this has there were some changes in doing that, but maybe in the future we will support Windows again, but for now we won't do it. It's also a reason that the Cosmos chain nodes also don't support Windows, and you should be able to run it like on a private machine or something like that. So I will enter macOS here, since I'm running on macOS. If you're running on AWS or some other hosting service, it's always probably Linux. So going down here, we want to auto download the binaries and also verify the checksums, so the binary hash, for security reasons. And then if you go down here, we want to run on pool 0, and that's the default value here, so I don't need to change it. And the network is always Coelia. And if you scroll down, we see the initial stake. So since we're joining the first time as validator, we can enter here our desired staking amount. So with which stake we want to run. So in this case, I want to run with 1,000 KYVE stakes. So I just enter like another 0 here, and then it automatically stakes 1,000 KYVE for me. And down here, we're running with 1 GB of hard drive, so our node can pre-cache some data, and we're running in verbose mode, which is also default true, so we see all the debug clocks. And by that, I just save that file. And now I'll just build the project. So I type in yarn build. And this should also take too long. And now it's actually ready to start. So in order to do that, I just type yarn start. And what should happen now is it should automatically download the required binaries of the Moonbeam pool, which is the KYVE EVM. Forgot. Of course, forgot one important thing. Before you start, you have to provide, of course, your secrets. And the secrets include your RWiF JSON file for uploading data to RWiF, and your mnemonic, which is used for signing your messages for KYVE, so registering new proposals and voting. And for that, you have to create a secrets folder. Just do it with mkdir. You can also do it through the Finder or to the UI, but I will just do it through the terminal. And now you have to put in your mnemonic first, or your RWiF JSON. And because there are many questions regarding that, this is like a demo mnemonic. This is no real one, but this is how it should look like. This is just some random generated one, and it should be just one line without a trailing space or like an appending space. So it should be just one line and a txt file called mnemonic. And on the left side, I have my real mnemonic, which I won't show, but I will just copy it in real quick. So I will just copy it to secrets now. and then also copy the RWIF JSON over to the secrets. And then if we see what's in there, it should look like this. So it should include those two files here, exactly in this file format. And now we can start a project again, because now I've actually included the files. And let's see if that works now. So perfect. When the Kaiser runs through and has started a project, we can look into the files it has generated. So I will just open a new terminal here. So we see starting node, attempt to fetch pool state, and it's now actually staking. Oh. Now that's of course interesting. It's always the show effect now. Apparently you get some error while staking. So we can see if we actually like joined the set here. But we can see that we are here actually, so I don't know why it errored there. Maybe just need to restart it again. But in the meantime, we can open a second terminal. Ah, now it's running, okay. In the meantime, we can open a second terminal and see what folders it created. So we just go into the Kaiser real quick. And then the new folder created here is actually the runtimes folder. So if we go in there and see how it's split up, we can just cd into it. And it has the following setup. So it will create one folder per runtime. So for example, the root folder is always at KYVE, because it's always called at KYVE / for example EVM. So if we go there, we find the EVM runtime, and if we even cd into that, we find the version which you're running on, which is also important for later. And in that version folder, we find the actual binary which got downloaded. And when we go back here, we see that the node is running, and it produces many external errors because we currently have live data, so the blocks are not always available, or only when they're like being generated. And now we are running here as a validator, and when you're logged in, you always see your validator address because it has like a green mark over here. And when you want to see now which many people already use, we already include profile pictures, monikers, and logos and all that stuff. So if you want to edit that, you can just click on your own validator. You can also do that by going here and seeing my validator or manage my validator. It's the same. And if you want to change then your validator, you can do it here. You can also manage your stake here. And then click here, you can set up your commission rate. So 90% means that 90% of the bundle rewards goes to you, and the remaining 10% will go to the delegators who delegate into you. And then here, for example, we can edit a mnemonic. So I prepared some data I can enter here. So Monica will be KYVE validator, and then our website will be just our website. And for the logo, I also prepared a logo and hosted that on another server. And then when we enter that, it show up here as a preview, and then we can just update that. And after it has finally updated, everybody should see you by their moniker, by their logo, and your website. So that's how you set up the Kaiser and your public profile, I would say. And the reason why we always recommend running with the Kaiser now is the following. So previously, when we go back to the overview, for every runtime, you will have to have like a special binary or the one-time binary to run on that pool. So if you, for example, run on Moonbeam, which we are currently doing now, and want to run on Zilliqa, for example, or I know Cello, you need to like get the new binary of Cello, compile that yourself, and then start it. What Kaiser now does for you is you can just enter the pool ID of Cello and just run on the fly on that, and you don't need to do anything. It will just auto-download the binary and then start it for you. So you only have one program to run on every pool, basically. And what we also introduced now are actually pool upgrades. So Cosmos, for example, in Cosmos, for example, you can schedule chain upgrades, and for the Cosmosizer, for example, it will detect when a chain upgrade happens and then auto downloads the binary for you and starts it again. So you actually never miss an upgrade. Because if you miss an upgrade, you're considered as offline, and then you might receive a timeout slash, and of course that's not good. So the Kaiser works exactly the same. When the Kaiser sees there's a pool upgrade scheduled, it will automatically pull down the new upgrade binary and then restarts again with the new version. So we'll never miss an update, and we will probably do many updates in the future since we're still in testnet and have still many things to improve. And if we want to run on Celo right now, we can do it. So I will just stop on Moonbeam here, and I will just edit my config again. So we just get the Celo ID, which is 7. And I will just enter that in the Kaiser config. And then just try to run it again. And then it's important every time after you edit the Kaiser config, you need to rebuild the project. But after that, you can just yarn start it, and hopefully now it runs on the first time. Or I have to restart it again like before. Let's see. So again, it will auto download the binary for Celo now. You can already see it in the download link. And then we'll start actual validata, and this time it worked. So I need to look into that too. So now we're running as validator in Cosmos. Oh, again, same error. Then apparently there's something I can still fix. And okay, now we're running on Celo. So if you look here, we are the last one apparently. So with that, you can just switch the pool with no effort at all, and save you a lot of time with there. So that's why we recommend it to you and provide you hopefully good enough documentation to make use of that. And that's actually, I would say it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in our chat. We will, of course, all answer them if possible. And yeah.